Mic in, mic out. Hey, ooh, gotta hit it. Let's do it. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome, welcome, welcome. Hey, how are you all doing? 20 seconds left. Look, y'all need to see my face before those 20 seconds are up. So I'm here. I'm here, right? Hey, Lion Flood, if you've never met me before, thank you all for coming here. I am your coach. You just don't know it yet, right? And I am teaching you the art of going live. What does that mean? What does that mean? Ooh, that goes deep into it. But since we are just doing a basic kind of informational live today, where I'm just showing you some tips and tricks to help your video content, your lives, your coaching sessions, whatever it is. We're just giving out some tips today. So we're not diving deep into all of the aspects of it. Um, Comments, please bring them. This is not just me sitting here talking to you. Engage with each other. If you have questions, though, I like to separate comments and questions. So do me a favor and put your questions in a format like this. What's up, Neil? How's it going there, sir? Appreciate you. Dr. News in the house. Sindel, I saw your show earlier today. I appreciate that. It was really great. I want you to put a Q. Then I want you to put a colon and then your question. You ask why. What that does is it helps me separate comments from questions so they don't get bundled up, because I want to make sure I answer your questions. So today we're getting to meat and potatoes. No fluff, just showing you some good tips, tricks, lighting, camera angles, all those kind of things like that. So again, if you have any questions, throw them inside there. We are going to enjoy ourselves and have a little bit of fun. I think that's it for the housekeeping portion of it. Other than that, are y'all ready to go? Ready to go? Because I want to give the people what they want. And I know what you want. You want to look better and be more comfortable on camera, right? I get it. Then let's jump right into it. So what you're about to see right now is just me introducing going live, right? How to show up and show out when you're on screen, how to get over some of those nerves, how to make those things look a little bit easier and go through all of the process. It's just a little mini kind of webinar, but we're going to spice up your live life, right? That's got a little ring to it. Ooh, spice it. You want to spice up your live life? Then we are here to show you how to get it done. Now, it's not as easy as it looks, people, but we're going to again talk about quality lighting, camera placement. We're going to get into backgrounds, and then at the end, I've got a little bonus for you. Now, let me come back to here for one quick second, just in case people want to know something, because I usually get this question. At the end of this, I am going to put out an option to join a course. It's $97. Get it out the way. You don't got to do it. This is free. This is informational. So now, guess what? You can relax a little bit. Yes, you can relax a little bit. Yes. So definitely, I appreciate it. So again, like I said, we're going to be jumping in and out of a few things, and I want you all to be comfortable and check that out. So we've got that's an old one there. So what do we have here? Oh, there we go. So Sindel says, thanks for coming. I've been super excited about this. Been wanting to pick your brain for a while. Ooh, four O's. Ooh. I look super dapper. Thank you very much, Sindel. I appreciate that. Uh, so, hey, pick my brain. Ask any questions. And even if someone wants to get a little bit more information, we can set something up for that a little bit later. So, but back to what we were talking about. At the end, I'm also going to again throw you a bonus. So let's jump into the first thing, lighting and camera setup. One of the most important things that people overlook is their lightings. And I'm going to talk to you about some good tips, tricks, and what not to get and kind of what to get. So let's first talk about the 3-point lighting setup. Now, everything here is, I guess, what some people can call optional. You don't have to do this, but this is information that I highly suggest. You want to ensure good lighting conditions. Natural light is truly often the best, but you've got to be careful about natural lighting. And I'm going to tell you why. But also, possible invest in some soft diffuse lighting, lighting sources, and then I'm going to refer you to a couple of things so you can kind of see why. But this is the 3-point lighting setup. In the middle, we have our camera. That yellow dot, that is you. That is the person and the subject that is being lit. We have a fill light, key light, and then also a backlight. Don't get too much into the names of them. I'm going to explain what they are, and I'm going to also show you a reference about where you can get them and how it looks. Okay. Here's another look at the 3-point lighting setup. So you can see, there you go in the blue. You're doing your little yoga pose, right? You got the legs crossed. You're sitting on a box, and you're doing your yoga show. So now your key light, you can see the brightness. That's the brightest you want it. And you want it at a 45-degree angle. And I'm also going to show you an example of how I used to have my setup, or my old setup. It's still the same, but I have different equipment now. Your fill light, medium intensity. You don't want that as strong, 50 to 75% of your key light. And then you want your backlight. Okay, that's low intensity. That's the most diffusion that you want. And there's for specific reasons to assist you out. And no, it's not going to light the back of your head. It just helps you out with a little bit more things so you're able to see those. Okay. Let's see. I'm also checking for questions. Please pop them in there or comments. Now, let's get to camera positions. If you're using a webcam, hey, nothing's wrong with that. Use what you have. But if you're using something a little bit more high tech, DSLRs or even Ozbots have some great ones. I know a few more, they do 4K and all that. But this is important to position your camera so that it brings out the best look in you. You know how sometimes you say, no, take the picture on my left side, that's my best side. Well, this is what you want your camera to be. All right, so you want it at a specific distance, and we're going to talk a little bit about how to get there and why it should be that way. But your camera position, you want to place the camera at eye level or slightly above. My camera is slightly above, and I'm going to show you that here in just a second. This angle is generally the most flattering, and it creates a more engaging connection with your audience. Eye connection is important, even if you're virtual. Promise you, people are watching and they do not feel like you are, in essence, connecting with them if they are there. Okay, so we have a question that just came in, and let's take a look here and see. And Sindel says, can we talk about microphones? What's better if we're out to buy a wearable mountable? Oh, absolutely, we're going to talk about microphones. And actually, let me change the text on that. That should be black. And we'll get that There now. Yes, we can see it better. Let there be light. Yes, we're going to jump into microphones as well, Sindel. So definitely, I will actually put a star by that question there so I can make sure it comes back up. Using Ecamm, ladies and gentlemen, hey, it makes everything so smooth. Ecamm is the best live streaming software. In case someone was wondering what software I am using, it is Ecamm, and I have an offer for you at the bonus for you to get a free 14-day trial, absolutely free. Thank you, Ecamm. Ecamm, raise it up. All right. So now let's jump back into our work. Okay, so we have the camera position. Here's how my setup looks. Now, this isn't the one I'm using currently any longer. I still have my different monitors, but for the most part, this is my setup. I've graduated, if you say. I've got the teleprompter now and so forth. But look at my lights. Okay, let's talk about lights and cameras. So if you can notice, one light is higher. Absolutely, you're welcome, Sindel. So one light is higher, and that's the one that's the 45-degree angle. And then we have our fill light, which is kind of still level, but that's shining more towards my face. So if you think of this and look at it, the higher light is coming down to my face, and that's angling here. The fill light is just, the backlight is coming right here to fill this side. So they're hitting me at the same different angles, okay? All right, now, also look at the camera. The camera is above my monitor, and it's angled just slightly to give me a more flattering look. So let me give you a bigger look at that, and we'll come back to it. I'll explain what that's referencing. Okay, so now, here is what you're seeing. This finger here represents where the monitor is. Okay, that's the monitor. This finger here is where my camera is. So it is maybe just 2-3 inches higher, but it's angled just a little bit so that it comes down to give me that flattering look. Do I have the flattering look right? I'm going to show you some lights, and I'm going to show you a couple of different microphones as well that I use. So we'll definitely get into those that you just referenced there as well. Okay, so now you see how my old setup looked, and my new setup is very similar, except I have a teleprompter, I have a light here, a light there, and I have fill lights behind me as well. Okay, so what are we going into next? We're going into backgrounds. Backgrounds are very, 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 very important. But with this background, you want to make sure that you choose a clean, uncluttered background that doesn't distract from your presentation. Consider using a virtual background. I'm going to tell you what I specifically mean when I speak on virtual backgrounds, though. It's not the one that you're thinking of, okay? If your surroundings are not ideal, okay? And I'm going to update that. But look at this position here. We have the chair sitting there. We have the camera that's about maybe 3 to 5 feet away. The background is just simply 2 pictures, a clock, and 3 pictures and a clock. Right? And then a plant. It's simple. It's not too busy. It's not too much going on. They want to make sure that you are focused as the presenter. Okay. And I'll show you a couple of differences like that. Look at this picture that's coming up next. This is one of my clients that I worked with. When you first see this picture that's coming up next, let me know where your eyes focus at. Ready? Here we go. Tell me where your eyes focus at when you first see that. I'm going to say your eyes go directly to her. This is one of the creations that I created for her right here with the keyboard and then the background. But here is the beautiful thing, and I'm going to give you an example of that. And everyone else, listen to this. And Dale, listen to this. This is important. You are the presenter. The focus should be directly on you, not about things that are going on in the background. If you have too much space, if you have so much things happening, it distracts people. That background with those books, that is not real. But I'm going to come full screen because this is super important. It is not virtual, right? When I say virtual, I'm referencing sort of like my background. My background is not the Zoom virtual background where it starts disappearing like the Patrick Swayze ghost kind of a thing, and you can't see a product if someone holds it up. This is a photographer's backdrop. The one that you saw a second ago, that is a backdrop behind her with those library books. That's not real. Let me show you an example of what I mean. So as I pull this up, you can see this is an actual tangible item. It's a canvas and it's hung up behind me, but it transforms the feeling of this virtual space. You can get one of these simply a $20 product at your local craft store, Michael's, Hobby Lobby, Joann's, whatever it is. You can even order them on Amazon. That's where I got mine from. 1999. Two thumbtacks, boop, and then it's up there. So let's see. Oh, yes, Neil, absolutely. So Neil said, let's bring this up here. Neil said that the rule of third, and this is very important. I know it and I didn't even say it. Always good to apply the rule of third with regards to the placement of the subject. Okay. Let's see what Sindel says. I always thought your original space. This is my home, Sindel. Yeah. But the rule of third, we're going to come back to that. So the rule of third, kind of what Neil's referencing, and Neil, you can definitely speak on that a little bit more on that too. Thank you very much for that background, man. The rule of third, you want to put things so that they can be positioned so people can keep an eye on this part, this part, this part, right? You're going to put things in thirds. Now, what you all don't see sometimes, well, all the times because I don't show it to you, but I use a frame to assist me in my rule of thirds, right? So now look at this. You're not seeing this in the background until I show it to you, but this helps me out. This is kind of my rule of third, right? You see the line right up there, there's my hand at right there, and then this hand go right there, right? So that's like kind of the rule of third. This helps me keep my body structure, so I know I'm not slumping. I know I'm not getting lazy. I get to see exactly my body's in frame, right? So that's kind of how the grid rule of thirds. And then definitely correct me if you have a different thought process on that there, Neil, as well, right? All right. So, but my background is set specifically because it's a white wall, and I did not want to just sit at a white wall and have just a picture or something behind me. But if you look underneath this one, there's three of them. Okay, this is a second one. It's a wood wall, and this is an actual picture. It's movable, right? So sometimes when I want to switch it up, I just take this one down and I use the other one, right? Or I roll it up and keep it up there, right? So I get to change my mood, the feel of my office, my whatever, and now it just looks more presentable, more of a feel. I'm not sitting in my room, possibly with my bed or things, and trust me, people, it gets distracting. Okay. All right. So let's go to the other one. So let's get back into that one there so we can see it. Here we go. All right. So again, you can see the feel of that. She's at a wall, and you can even almost, if you look over her where her hand is at, there's a crease because hers is coming around the wall going on to the other wall. All right. So that's an example of that. And something else I also wanted to mention as well, and I forgot to say this during the light section. Natural light is great, but you want to be careful because, for example, I have a window next to me, but the blinds are closed. Because if the time of the day that you're doing it, possibly the sun can start to move. If the sun's moved, then that means shadows start to come on your face, and there's a dark spot in that section where the sun was at. So be careful if you're doing it during a specific time of the day where the sun's going to move and so forth. Right. All right. So now, again, background. I'm going to show you what mine used to look like underneath it. Okay. This is my old background that you saw underneath, and those are the pictures set up there. It's not a virtual background, right? Most people think that, again, even when they would see this one here. It's simply a fabric that I got off Amazon, right? And it's just hung up, and you can see the difference, right? So again, you can see also the camera settings. We're not going to get into that today. That's a little bit more advanced, but on one side of it, you see like I look washed out, and then on the other side, the color correction and everything is placed in there. Makes your face and everything else look a little bit more flattering, right? All right. Now, next, we're going to get into the body language. What does it mean? What does it mean? Ladies and gentlemen, it means a lot. Body language and expressiveness. If you are just sitting there, Bueller, 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 then your audience is going to feel the same way. They're just going to kind of, yeah, I guess, whatever, right? So your body language and your expressiveness, it needs to be centered to what you're doing. You don't have to be boisterous and everything, right? But you need to be energetic. You need to have fluctuation in your voice tone, and we'll talk about that here shortly as well. So you guys get to see that there. So body language and expressiveness. Take a look at this here because we're going to get into eye contact now. It's what I love. You want to look directly into the camera lens to create that impression of making eye contact with your audience. Avoid constantly checking yourself on the screen. It's tough. It's tough. Now, I have a teleprompter, and that helps me out. And that grid that I showed you, that helps me out. So I don't have to look at the screen or something else like that. Here's what happens for most people when they see this, okay? This is what most people do. And I saw a few people do that today. I go to a lot of meetings and I kind of just audit it in my head and I watched it. And I got some great advice for you. Sindel, I got some tips I can help you out with as well. So here's what it looks like. The person that you're referencing and speaking to, or your audience that you're doing it, if you're doing it solo, is on the screen here. Most people look at the screen like this and they're talking. And the audience doesn't notice it. Because if you're looking at this right now, I'm looking at the screen and I'm looking as if I was talking to a Zoom room full of people or something. But to you, it looks like I'm looking down. To my brain, it looks like I'm looking at you. But you have to focus. You have to bring yourself to look here inside that camera. It's tough because it feels like you're not talking to anyone. But trust me, the people that's watching, the people that's listening, they feel connected to you because they feel like, oh, whoa, they're talking right to me, right? And exactly that's what they mean. So let's take a look and see what the next one. My ears. I'm never going to get better without working it out. Hey, that's where we start at. Everything starts with just one foot in front of the other. All right. So let me slow down just a little bit. I get excited. So I got to do my little. Yes. All right. Now breathe it in, breathe it out. All right. Let me show you an example of what that looks like, though. Check this out. If you can see, here we are in a meeting. I am looking directly at the camera. Look at my picture, and look at everyone else's. That's what I was just referencing, right? They're all looking down because they're looking at the person who's speaking. They're looking at their face. Now, that's what it looks like if you're looking at the screen, and this is what it looks like to your audience members when they're looking at your video, when they're looking at your live. To them, you look like you're looking down, but you should be looking at them. Now, next, you're going to see some people who I've worked with and have taken my course and watch the difference in what it looks like here. We are all looking at the camera. You have to push yourself. Look at the difference in the feel. That's my biggest thing. Your audience needs to feel like they're getting something from you. They need to feel excited and connected that they should be here, right? Watch again. This is before. What feeling do you feel when you look at this and see people looking down? Then what feeling do you feel when you see this? Yeah? Much more connected. Yeah. And that's what you have to force yourself to do. Here's a little tip I have for people who are using webcams day and night. Absolutely. There's a big difference. But it's not something that we notice because we're just doing it on our end and our audience members don't tell us. Sometimes if you do a survey or something, if you ask, but they don't tell us and say, hey, you did a show today and I just didn't feel like you were connected to me. I didn't feel like you were talking to me. They just won't show back up, right? They just may show up sporadically, but we need them and we want them to stay with us, okay? Here's a little tip I used to use before I got a teleprompter. I'm going to keep saying that. Invest into a teleprompter, right? I use this tip often, and I still have it up, actually. I just looked at it right here. But this is what I used to do. I got a Post-it note, and I just put it right on my next to my webcam camera, and I would tell myself because I would see it, and it would say, "Look here," right? This look here, talk here. Just a little tip. Get a piece of tape, tape it on there and write, look here. Don't look anywhere else. Whatever you need to do, that's what you need to do to make sure that you look into the camera if you don't have a teleprompter. So, like in that first video picture I showed y'all with my camera was above my my desktop. I didn't have a teleprompter in it, so I had to force myself to do that as well. All right. Okay. Next, we're going to talk about facial gestures. It's very important. We don't think that it is. So, oh, one second. Yeah. Okay. So this is the first one I wanted to show you. You want to use a variety of facial expressions to convey emotions and engagement. Smile when appropriate, maintain a pleasant and approachable. Use hand gestures. If you saw, I'm using my hands. It keeps the people's eyes and attention and their brain span on you. But you want to make it purposeful, emphasize, and you want to add some a little bit of dynamism to your presentation. Okay. Now look at this person speaking, right? So they're using a phone to represent that they're talking to someone and trying to use that. But look where their eyes are at. That looks off when you're looking at this, does it not? Because they're looking down at their face. And you notice that's the same difference when people take selfies or something. They don't look at the hole in the camera, they look at the picture on the screen. Now, also watch this one here, okay? Oh, went back to this one. Here we go. There we go. So now watch this as she's talking. She's using those facial gestures, and it keeps the person whom she's speaking with more engaged. Now this is overemphasized to show you, you know, how it should look, but this is also what you want to work on. Not just sitting there and keeping your face in a just normal kind of stance or something like that, right? You want to ensure that you're going to make sure that people are paying attention, right? Next, voice and verbal skills. What does that mean? Bueller, bueller, right? We want to make sure that we're fluctuating our voices so that people are paying attention. Even if you have a monotone kind of speak, and I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna use Neil for an example. But here's the difference. Neil has a very monotone, for me, speech tone, but it's soothing, it's relaxing, right? It draws me in, especially when he says my name, because Neil, I love it. So everyone here, because Neil lives in Portugal, so it's a different pronunciation, accent, and so forth. So everyone here says lion, and Neil says lion, and I'm like, oh, say it again, Neil. Hold on. Hey, lion, welcome. I'm like, okay, watch out. so, so, but that voice fluctuation, it is very important in your verbal skills. You're welcome, man. You have to make sure that you speak clearly, enunciate your words, and speak at a moderate pace. Kind of just like I was referencing with Neil. He speaks at a very moderate pace. I enjoy it though because it makes my brain relax. I, on the other hand, speak at a very different kind of pace, but I bring it up and I bring it down. I know it, so I make sure I'm conscious of that. Avoid mumbling or speaking too quickly, as this can make it difficult for viewers to understand you. I do that on occasion when I get excited about something, but then I've got little reminders around me that says, bring it down line. Earlier, you notice I said, let me grab a drink, bring myself down, because I caught myself getting excited about this, right? But you need to make sure you enunciate. Audio is super important. And again, we're going to get into some mics like that. Guilty is charged. So audio is very important. People will still watch your video even if it's scrambled a little bit and maybe it's just not as clear. But if your audio is not there and your microphones are not there, then yeah, they're going to probably leave a lot sooner than you want. Okay. Vary your tone. How do I fix my monotone? Use vocal inflections to convey enthusiasm and keep the audience engaged. Avoid speaking in a monotone voice, which can be monotonous. Again, if it works for you, then that's what it is. I honestly could not picture Neo speaking like this. That would actually drive me crazy. I can't, because I'm so used to that smooth tone that it clearly defines what he's speaking about and I understand it and I want to make sure I pay attention. I'm like, ooh, that was a great point, right? So, how do you avoid doing that? How do you fix that? You want to pause, right? Let's see. I didn't put that pause for emphasis. There you go. I have my face on that one right there. Don't rush through your content. Pause strategically to allow your audience to absorb information and to emphasize key points. For an example, I know that there's a delay doing this. So when I get to a point when I want to ask a question, I'll say, hey, what do you guys think about that right there? Let me know. Put it in the chat. Yeah, that's a great. Now I'm sitting back and giving about 8 to 10 seconds so some of those answers come in. Then I can say, oh, yes, that's great right there, right? I want to pause for emphasis. I want to make a point about a product. And I want to say, all right, next, we've got this coming up. Now, when you get to see this, though, I want y'all to really pay attention to this product because it's going to change everything for you. It's going to make it so much easier for your workflow to the point where it's going to feel like it's automatic. Notice how I kind of spaced those. I started talking about it. Hey, check out this next product. I got excited about it. Then I relaxed because it's going to make it so easy for your workflow to the point that it's going to feel automatic. And I got excited on automatic because that's how people want. They don't want to keep, they want to feel ease. They want to feel like things are very free flowing and kind of automatic. All right. All right. So now I'm going to kind of break here for a second to catch up with any questions before I jump into this bonus content because I know that's something that a lot of people love. And then we're going to kind of jump into a little bit of mics. But I want to show you something here because this is something that people have such a fear over. And when I say fear, you have to understand that pushing that record button, it sometimes makes people freeze up, but that's the only way to get better. But you can't let fear win over you. And I want you to take a look at this so you kind of understand exactly what I'm referencing. This.
Mr. Miyagi, it's over. It's over. Forget about it.
No.
I'm afraid. Let's just get out of here. I want to go home.
Cannot, must not. It's okay, lose to opponent. Must not lose to fear.
Yo, I'm afraid. I'm afraid of him, all right? What do I do?
You stay focused. Tell us how your best karate is still inside you. Now time, let out.
Your best video creation content is still inside. Now time to let out. All right. Did that bring back some memories? Did you guys look at that and say, yeah, I can understand that right there, right? Yeah, cut you deep, yeah? Because it's like, I don't want to press record. But you got to think about this. If you have content that you feel could help people out, change their lives, you have to think of it like they deserve to hear it from you. You're doing them and everyone else a disservice if you do not bring it to them. Because there is one person that's going to hear your content and it's going to change your trajectory of things that they're working on, right? All right. So now, real quick before we get into the bonus, let's talk about a few of the things that I would suggest that you can use. Just suggestions. You don't need them. But first thing, I want to show you the light. Okay, this is a light that I used to use, and I still have it. This is an Elgato Light Air. Best Buy, Amazon, you can pick them up. This is great, battery operated. It can change the color. It works on your phone on the app, so you can change the color and operate it. This is a desktop version, so it just sits right on the desk. It's very light and easy. Okay, that's what I first got, Elgato Air. This is another light, and I think Neil. Neil. Tell me if this is not you, right? This is the Godex that you referenced, and I went and picked it up. And this is one that I use for my fill light, my backlight. So this is a very great light as well, and they're portable. Use corded and battery, rechargeable. Okay. Yes, Dr. New says I need to pause as well. Yes, It's very important, and we have to make sure that we take a moment to say to ourselves, am I going too fast? Am I going too fast? Yeah. Sindel says, I remember the movie Cut Me Deep. Oh, I didn't mean to bring up too much memories, right? Great. Like, yeah. Listen, when you mentioned that, and I was like, oh man, because I've always wondered kind of what those lights are behind you and that you're using. And I was like, oh, it has changed my atmosphere tremendously when I use that light now. It's amazing. Let's see. Sindel says, I've seen those and have been iffy on buying them, but rechargeable just sold me. Okay. Yeah. So this one here that I was just referencing, and there's other ones. Okay. Remember, you can find budget friendly ones and so forth right there. So you can use this in all kind of positions, but this one is rechargeable and it's very easy. It's great. Neil can speak more on that there because he's the one who referenced this, and then I went and picked one up, and he uses this a lot. Matter of fact, Neil, put your information in. Any one of you all, put your information in the chats if you all want to watch each other's show and advice or just to pick up on it. So Neil has a great setup, and I love it. It's like a mysterious but yet still pulls you in dark, and the lights are set up perfect. Listen, I absolutely love that. So when I get my actual studio, my lights are going to be changed up, and that's why I model after you right there. And I'm going to tell you a little secret that I do, ladies and gentlemen. And I suggest that you do this as well. A lot of times, I will go to another show, and I will. What we do in funnel hacking, because I build funnels, is called funnel hacking. I will look at that show and model. It's like, oh, I like that. Maybe I could set mine up differently. I'm not going to copy, but I'm going to be like, I can maybe put mine like that, right? Maybe you got an inspirational idea from seeing this, right? Maybe you want to hang something up behind you so that you don't disappear. I promise you, it will bring a different feeling to your people. You don't need a green screen. You don't need anything like that. You could just hang up just something really cool. Matter of fact, I'm gonna go on and show you all. Um, yeah, I wasn't planning on that, but I'm gonna do that here really quick as well. Um, let's see. Yes. Oh, someone just said yes. Neil Sindel. She said, bring that up. Yes, please. I would love to connect. I'm just getting started building her set. Yeah, I watched her show today. Watch Neil's stuff. We just did a show yesterday. I was interviewed on their show as well. They have a great kind of collaboration. The ideas are absolutely great and everything. And there's Neil's. Make sure you go and subscribe to him. And I'm actually give you all a tip to help you out with your subscriptions and stuff today as well. So let me see if I can bring this up really quick as well, because I think you all should see this. So this was not a part of it, but this is why I love doing this stuff like this, because what that does is it helps it out. Now, also a little quick tip is so yeah, let me do this one first. So a little quick tip, Sindel, if you don't mind, I'll share with you is the I know sometimes we see something in funnel hacking and we bring it on. So for example, you watch the show and then you see all of the comments flying in. You want to stagger them, right? Because what happens is if you bring every single comment in, the people who are trying to listen to the information, they aren't listening any longer. They're trying to read, right? So if you're seeing I'm staggering in my comments and I stop for a second, then I spent 2 minutes bringing comments on, for example. But also my comments are structured so that they are the main focus. And I'm a little small circle. You still see me, but then these comments are focused in. Since Sindel said, got it. Thank you. Dr. New said, love your video, also lying, right? So these are little things that now the comment from the person of focus, they don't just come on the screen and disappear kind of. So that's another little quick tip there. Now, you asked about microphones. So this was my first baby microphone, kind of. It's the Blue Yeti. I would not suggest it. So there's two different microphones. There's a condensed microphone and a dynamic microphone. I use a dynamic. It simply means this entire kind of space that's around here, okay, that is picking up all of the volume, right? So let me show you an example of that look. Imagine kind of this microphone here, right? You can see it's wired, but the sound is coming all around here. and you will get a lot of echoes. It's just not, but it depends on what level that you're going for, right? The Samsung Q29, I think it is. And Neil, if you have a microphone you could recommend that's budget friendly for people, that would definitely help. I have another um, kind of show I do, and I talk specifically about equipment. So, but this picks up all around. You want a microphone that's dynamic, not condensed. And what that means is this: the sound is only being picked up directly into this portion of the microphone, not around here. No sound from the back is coming in. It's only being picked up here. You can pick up some Q9s. Pod mic is another good one, but that one needs a like a roadcast or something. But the Samsung Q9 is a USB, plugs right in. Very great microphone. I think it's like $69. Depends, price could have went up or something like that. But it's a really great microphone, and it wanted to make you look more professional, right? People pay more attention, they perk up when they're listening to you, and it gives you dynamic sound going directly into that. Okay. Now, what I'm doing right now is I'm going to look up the background to show you. All right. So let's see. Hey, Ms. Butler, how are you doing there? So let's see. Let's get that comment up on there. Thank you for saying that I needed to hear that. Yes, wow, I have the Blue Yeti. It was recommended by another expert. Blue Yetis, they work. They work, but I would not recommend it as a professional. It depends on what level someone wants to go to. That you don't get that crisp sound and so forth like that. Thanks, I needed to hear that. Neil just referenced one. He said he just reviewed on his channel the Fifine AM8, great USB mic, $55, right? So, and here's the thing about that, Ms. Butler, of why I say that, right? So, like, for example, Neil just referenced the mic for $55, right? So it's not the price, it's what the mic does. And basically what happens is with that Yeti, as I was just talking about, is, and they have settings, but it doesn't really work. What happens is sometimes you ever hear somebody say, oh, I'm getting echoes, or your voice sounds like it's expanding, right? And we're not talking about putting up sound panels, but just the microphone. That sound comes in from everywhere. So if someone drops a board, right, it's going to echo into the microphone. If they do the same thing here, it won't, because the sound only comes in to this right here. So there's nothing to absorb it. But check out that Fine 9 thing right there that Neil just talked about. So you can see that. Now I'm going to show you a couple of these backgrounds here that's referencing. Actually, I'll show that to you first. All right. So now let me set this up real quick because I was not going to do this, but hey, we're here. So let's get that going. Right? I could have did my preview mode, but it is all right. So this is Amazon. And here are a couple of like the backdrops. So for example, that's $23. And this is kind of what it looks like, right? So that is just a canvas that's put up on the wall. Now you can search all kind of things. So you can search, let's search, for example, outside. I don't know, right? So then now, all right, so there goes a couple of these. So you can put something up like this. Now this is, for example, is what a virtual background would look like. I've seen virtual backgrounds have something like this. But what happens is now this is a canvas. So you're not going to disappear. You're not going to do all that, right? So you can search Amazon and it will come up and you can do all kind of stuff just like that right there. So to kind of wrap things up and keep comments, questions coming, bam, Blue Yetis, condenser mics, no, get rid of them. Lights, Elgato, one of the best in the business right now. There's different kinds. You can get some on Amazon. And actually, you know what? Let me show you one more thing on Amazon as well that I usually show my clients, and this will help you guys out as well. You don't have to get this, but this is something you can use as well. So here is a teleprompter specifically made for the webcam, right? So we bring this up. So as you can see, that gets put right over your webcam, And what that does is now you can look directly into the um, webcam or whatever you're using, and then you can still keep your eye on that meeting, right? So that's it can be used there, and it can be used on the DSLR cameras. Okay, so just another little quick thing I like to reference in that. All right, so uh let's see here. I want to just make sure everything's done on that there. So yeah, we're good. So the bonus. I'm going to give you guys an opportunity to get a 14-day free trial with Ecamm. If you like, my link is going to be placed inside of here. You can try that. And then I also put a couple of the links in there for my course as well. As I told you at the very beginning, it's the only time I was ever going to mention it. If you want to dive deeper into some more direct things, I offer a course. It's normally, let me get this up for you guys so you can see that. But first, let me get this on here. My 14-day free trial with Ecamm. Now, unfortunately, it's only for Mac users. So if you're not using a Mac, we got some other options, but make sure, just get a Mac. It's time to do it, right? Mac is back. Mac is back. So here's my Get Confident on Camera challenge. Normally it is $497, but $97 for the entire Confident course. You're going to take you to embark on that journey to get confident on camera, master body language, deliver charisma, captivate your audience effortlessly, kind of like what I'm working to do now, right? Whether you're a content creator, entrepreneur, professional, unlock your ability to shine. That link is in the ones I just put inside there as well. Hey, if you got some great information from this, share it. I'm going to do this more often. If you feel like, hey, I want to dive deeper and learn more things specifically, hey, we can work one-on-one. But I appreciate this. I wanted this to be an engaging thing, not just me sitting here telling you exactly what to do. I wanted you to be able to see this. Thank you so much, Neil. I appreciate that. If anyone else wants to just hang around for a second, I'm going to wrap this up, but we are good to go. I'm going to stay here, answer some questions if you like as well. And I'm going to hit you with my outro. Watch my outro. Bam, bam. That's not it, but watch my outro. And then when the outro goes off, I'm coming back to you. Ladies and gentlemen, VCA Academy Line Flood, the art of going live. You look like a professional. You are a professional. You deserve to look like one. And this is why I love going live, because look, we are going to do some things, but people understand that people are forgiving. Tell me how many times you recorded content and then you're like, no, that's not good. I need to cut it out. No, let me do it over again. 6 and 7, 8 recordings, and you still haven't gotten it done right? So check out the outro. I'm not going anywhere. I'm coming back to you all, but watch this here. Thank you all.